Okay, we are filming. Anyways, I recently read this book called Pakistan by Imran Khan. This is a book. And I thought I'd do, well, not really a review, but sort of like just share my opinions about it. And I mean, there's certain points I'd like to discuss, and I'll just sort of go through the points. There isn't any elaborate structure to it, so I'll just get started. The first thing one should know about this book is that it's sort of as if there are three books in one. Basically, the book has a biographical aspect, in where Imran sort of discusses his transition from a cricket player to a politician, and I mean, come on, it's a large transition. Cricket, politics, transition. The book also has a historical aspect to it. Imran basically discusses certain aspects of Pakistani history, like, for example, the effects of colonization, and how colonialism sort of destroys a country's self-esteem, and it's really important that these issues are sort of highlighted. The third aspect that Imran discusses is spirituality and religious understanding. And what really impressed me was how Imran sort of takes these three aspects, which are seemingly totally different. I mean, cricket, spirituality, politics, and then he sort of unites them and shows how they actually are interconnected. It's the first book I've seen that actually does something like this, that takes three so different themes and, unites them into one, but he does a fairly good job. Another thing I really liked about this book was the fact that it doesn't discuss cricket too much, and yeah, you heard me right actually. It's probably weird coming from Pakistani. I mean, it probably sounds like blasphemy, how could he say that? But I actually appreciate the fact that Imran doesn't talk too much about cricket, because there isn't really any shortage of information about his cricketing career. I mean, if you just Google Imran Khan cricket, there are so many hits, it's just crazy. It's as if he's like the Tiger Woods of cricket or something. Or who's that basketball player? The tall guy. Well, that doesn't narrow it down. Michael Jordan. But anyways, what he instead focuses on is his cancer hospital, Shaukat Khanum. It's a cancer hospital in Lahore that treats 75% of all patients free of charge, and it's a pretty good hospital as well. I think it's only a few months ago that they isolated 2 genes that are involved in breast cancer. And I mean, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure that's a good thing. Now, that's sort of the biographical aspect, I guess. When it comes to historical aspect, I really like the fact that he sort of remains objective, but at the same time he highlights issues that are important to the country, and he doesn't sugarcoat any problems. Like, he's open about the fact that the government right now is corrupt, it's not functioning, but he doesn't demonize anyone, and he doesn't have a pessimistic attitude. I mean, he sort of shows that, alright, these are the problems the country has, but there is also a solution. So, it's definitely worth reading. The book also has a spiritual aspect, and I think this is probably the most personal aspect of the book, because, I mean, he obviously, when he sort of discusses his transition from a cricket player to a politician, and simultaneously from a playboy to the man he is today, you have to get personal if you want to describe that transition. And although most biographies do have a personal element in them, I mean, when you're writing about someone, you do need to sort of describe them and, personal aspects. But at the same time, I think this is more personal than most biographies, and it's definitely worth checking out. The book really reminded me of Malcolm X's autobiography, in the sense that the language is very similar. I mean, this is simple, plain, straightforward English. Nothing fancy, there's no difficult vocabulary, no use of literary devices like, metaphors and similes and all that stuff. So, if you want plain, simple, informative books, this might be one of them. What sort of separates it from Malcolm X's book is the fact that while both Malcolm X and Imran seem to have a sincere desire to do what they deem is best for their communities, Imran doesn't demonize anyone. He doesn't glorify anyone either. While Malcolm X is sort of very clear about who he perceives as the good guys and the bad guys. Final aspect I'd sort of like to highlight about this book is how it incorporates Iqbal's poetry. And for those of you who don't know him, Iqbal is basically, well, it's actually really hard describing Iqbal because he was into a lot, but I guess you would call him a philosophical polymath because he was into poetry, he was into philosophy, he was into politics. So I mean, basically anything with social sciences, and he's probably into half of it. But Imran basically incorporates his poetry with translations, which is really nice because I believe that Iqbal is probably one of the most undertaught philosophers in any curricular system. So this is an important step in sort of, making up for it. And yeah, I guess that's basically what I had to say. I should probably wrap things up now. I really recommend you guys read this book. I'll sort of hold it up once again. Here it is. Of Imran Khan, Pakistan, A Personal History. Whether you like this review or not, I still suggest you check it out. And I really appreciate you guys took the time to listen to my rant. And I hope you guys like the book.